What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the channel. Today we have something special for you guys, courtesy of Fantasy Flight. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this. But we have two exclusive card previews for you guys. I'm going to be talking about two new cards that Fantasy Flight has given me to talk about exclusively on this channel. But before we go ahead and do that, I do want to talk about the newly revealed Boba Fett leader, because it does kind of tie into the cards I will be talking about in a little bit, right? But obviously, Boba Fett, he is command and heroism. Amazing card. I think that this card has a lot of potential, and I'll kind of go ahead and give my reasoning why. But when you play a unit that has one or more keywords, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, give a friendly unit +1/+0. Now, if you play a card with any keywords on it, it doesn't have to be that card that gets +1/+0 for the face. It could be a friendly unit for the face. So you can already have something on the board, and you can go ahead and play something onto the board and then give that already existing card on the board +1/+0, allowing you to swing potentially into the base for more, or using it to clear out a potential threat on the other side. So that to me is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and talk about the epic action. It requires you to have 6, and then you can go ahead and bring out Boba Fett as a leader unit, and each other friendly unit that has one or more keywords gets +1/+0. So basically you're going to want to fill this deck up with as many keyworded units as possible, because that is just free damage and free just power-ups +1. It might not seem like a lot, but it does actually come in clutch in a lot of instances, right? Going over some of the keywords that I think make Boba Fett really solid and have some potential. I know that some people might not feel that way, because when I read the card first, I felt like it was kind of underwhelming, but as I started to think about it, I felt like it can come in handy in certain situations, right? So first off, if you're using a Sentinel and you have that on board, right, and you play something with a keyword, you can power up that Sentinel to then be able to dish out more damage into something that's going to be hitting it, so they'll potentially lose that unit. So that's a pretty good way to use Boba Fett. Also, units with grit. If you have a unit with grit and you play something and you power up that unit with grit, not only is he getting that extra damage from the HP that he has lost, but he can get that +1 just to get that little extra damage. Overwhelm, I think, is really good as well. There's some potential there to be able to deal some excess damage into the base, which is pretty cool. Raid units being able to deal that extra damage. So it's just really just being able to get your units that extra little bit of damage. But the main keyword I want to talk about is ambush, because of the fact that when you play that unit, you can exhaust Boba Fett right then and there, making it so they do get +1 for the ambush attack, and it stays on for the phase. So if your opponent wants to go ahead and swing into that unit and take it out, they're probably going to go ahead and lose a different unit, possibly, which is pretty cool. But being able to power up an ambush unit on their initial attack is just pretty awesome. You can go ahead and make something like, let's just say an escort skiff. It's a 4/4. It comes out. It's now dealing 5 damage. So you have the potential to take out a Boba Fett 3-cost unit, because you'll be able to deal that 5 damage, which is pretty good. Also, Mercenary Company becomes pretty good because it has Overwhelm and Ambush, and then that card is just, I think it will see play in this deck. And the reason I wanted to go ahead and talk about Ambush last is because that's going to go ahead and bring us into the first card we're going to be talking about today, and that is the modded cohort. Now, the modded cohort, it is a 4-cost command heroism card, so obviously it fits into Boba Fett perfectly. It is a 2/4, but it has ambush and raid 2. So you're playing this card down. It has ambush, so it's going to be attacking something right away. You're going to go ahead and exhaust that Boba Fett leader, and it becomes a 3/4. But then that raid 2 puts it up to 5. And again, you're swinging into potentially, it's when you're playing when you have 4 resources, it's pretty early on. So you most likely are going to be able to take out most of the things on the board, unless they were powered up with upgrades and stuff like that. But even if something's starting to get a little bit out of hand, you can go ahead and use this and take it out before more upgrades go on top of it. I just think that this card has a lot of potential, especially in this deck, but also not only in Constructed. I think that this card is going to be a fantastic card in Sealed. I think that low-cost ambush cards are really strong in Sealed. So if you're playing Command and Heroism, this is going to be able to help you control the board early and possibly keep it on the board. And if you're using Boba Fett, it keeps it for the face, so it's a 3/4 for the face. So if someone wants to go ahead and swing into it, they will be taking 3 damage back. And if you're doing it when you just play out the 4 resources, likelihood of them losing that unit is pretty high, but still, I think that this card might not look like a lot. It's a very simple card, but I think it has a lot of potential, especially in a Boba Fett deck, and especially in sealed format, in draft, and in just sealed in general. I think that this card is going to be amazing. Also, the art is awesome. Shout outs to that. But the next card we're going to be talking about, this card is absolutely insane, and I'm really excited to talk about this card. It is Boba Fett's Armor. Boba Fett's Armor is a 2-cost cunning card. It gives you +2/+2. You have to attach it to a non-vehicle unit, and if attached unit is Boba Fett and damage would be dealt to him, prevent 2 of that damage. Crazy. Now, this is good in current Boba Fett from set 1. It makes him absolutely ridiculous. You can go ahead and play it right when he comes out, when you have that 5 resources, right? You kill something, you ready up 2 resources, and then boom, just play this on him. You're preventing out 2 damage. You're able to, let's just say someone wants to use open fire on Boba Fett. Well, 2 of that damage is gone, so you're doing 2 damage to Boba Fett, so that's not going to really do too much, because with this on him, he becomes a 6/9, and that's just really strong. Overall Barrage, you're going to have to dedicate 2 extra damage to trying to take out Boba Fett. So it's just really, really strong, and it just makes him stronger attacking wise and HP wise. But with the new Boba Fett leader, being able to keep him on the board with this, again, preventing that damage and keeping leader Boba Fett, the command and heroism one, on the board longer, making your keyword units stronger for a longer period of time. It's going to make Boba Fett extremely hard to take off the board, and you're making your opponent have to commit more resources into trying to take it out. Now, you can have them, most likely they're going to be playing maybe things to destroy upgrades, right? I think that that's going to be more prominent in the meta in the second set, because a lot of things do like upgrades in the set, and Boba Fett is no different, because with Boba Fett's armor, he becomes an absolute unit and really hard to deal with. So you're going to see a lot more players playing cards that are able to take out upgrades, but if that's the case, then they have to spend resources and cards from their hand to go ahead and take it out. If they don't have that option, then they're gonna have to swing multiple units into Boba Fett more than before, because like, let's say they have a Battlefield Marine on the field. Yeah, well, you're dealing 1 damage to Boba Fett with Battlefield Marine, so good luck with that. But this card, one, it looks absolutely amazing. I think the art on this card is perfect, and just the power of the card, making it so Boba Fett is just really hard to deal with. Not only is he getting 2 attack, also 2 HP, but even when you go ahead and try to damage him, it's even harder to do that with this card, and I think that this card is fantastic. I can't wait to use it, honestly. And I am so excited to bring this card to you guys. Thank you so much to Fantasy Flight Games for allowing me to talk about these cards in this exclusive preview. If you guys are new here and enjoying the content, make sure you hit that sub button. Support is always appreciated. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and see you guys in the next video. Bye.